to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
Hey everyone, welcome. And I can't believe we're already on episode 21. And this month I'm going to be talking a lot about LinkedIn. And I'm really excited because I have a lot of things that I have to share. And so I'm going to just start off. I'm going to get rid of this elephant in the room about LinkedIn and the things that you should be doing, the things that you shouldn't be doing. And I'm just going to give my best etiquette stuff here. The things that you should be doing and thinking about when you're on LinkedIn. So I'm going to start off with, it's really important that if you're going to start utilizing LinkedIn, that you actually complete your profile. You don't know how many people out there are actually, they're on LinkedIn and they're very active, but they haven't done the do with completing their profile. And believe it or not, people do read those profiles. I read those profiles. And one of the biggest things that I look for is I look to see that you put a professional headshot on your LinkedIn profile, or at least a headshot that's not a selfie. So let's get this out of the way right away. Selfies are bad. Okay. It looks terrible. It makes your body look elongated and weird, and just don't do it. The other thing don't do is put your logo or your pets on the profile picture. So just a really thing. And then the other thing I want to say is if you're just starting out, start out with connecting with people you know, or at least know of. Some way that when you reach out to them, you can write some kind of personal note where they're going to be able to connect with you and understand who you are. Now, I say that for people who are starting out, but I actually am an open networker and I connect with anybody. But that anybody has to be a business owner, that anybody has to be someone who's active and has a complete profile on LinkedIn. And they also have to have at least over 300-400 people that they're connected with. And the reason for that is there's a lot of people out there that like to just spam you, and they just will be out there. They'll complete all those things. And I do look to see if they're active in what they post. And those are other criteria, but we'll talk more about that later on in the month. But the bottom line is another thing that I think that's really important to etiquette is responding politely, using the please and thank you. And even when you're doing an invitation to connect, or you're accepting an invitation to connect, be polite. A direct and professional response is always usually the best way to go. So you want to make sure that you are doing that and you're constantly using please and thank you very frequently. And also, I don't need to tell you this. We all learned this from our parents when we were like 3-4 years old. So use those words a lot. Please and thank you. I very rarely hear them nowadays, even when I'm somewhere in person, or if I hold a door open for someone. So on LinkedIn, you want to use that. Just do something, be considerate of their time. If you're asking them a question, always say thank you if they answer it. And I don't need to really say anything more about that. The next thing is something that's happened to me many times at a networking event, is just be honest. Okay. So Here's an example of this. You go to a networking event and you've met somebody beforehand on LinkedIn. And first of all, they don't look like anything their picture is. Okay. So it's hard to like, oh, you're John Smith, but and I don't say it out loud, but I think to myself, wow, when you're doing your profile picture, make sure it is a relevant and updated picture of yourself. The other thing is jobs. So I thought I was connecting with somebody once that was in real estate, and actually they weren't in real estate at all. They actually were in marketing and sales, and it had nothing to do with real estate. Also, be honest about what you do on LinkedIn. And I know we've all experienced this, so I know I'm not the only one, but I just want to put that out there for those of you who haven't updated their job description lately or what they do. Please do that. The next thing, okay, excuse my French here, but don't be an ass. So don't annoy people, and we all know that person who does. So don't be that person. And what I mean by that, how can you be annoying on LinkedIn? I have this one person, no names mentioned, that constantly in my mailbox constantly is writing me this big sales pitch. And it's usually about 4 paragraphs long. And to be honest, I don't have time to read it. I don't have time to read that shit. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not being rude here, but it's like, come on, people, be direct. If you're going to do an in message, be a little direct. Say who you are. If it's like a cold in-mail message or, if you're messaging someone or you want to connect with someone, but don't go on for hours. Okay. Cause nobody has time to read it. Okay. Just say it. All right. When you're reaching out to someone, don't go right into a sales pitch. Try to get to know them. Social media is really about relationships. If you're not creating those relationships on LinkedIn, then guess what? You're not going to have any. And it's really important to establish that. I know when I first started out, I made a few of those mistakes, like telling everybody about who I was and what I do and what I'm selling. And I have learned over the years that this is not the approach. And so I'm just trying to spare you some heartache around connecting with people, because social media is social. Go for the relationship first. Maybe the sale will come after, but you want to go for the relationship first. And the other thing I want to say is that there are a lot of people, I have a premium account, so I can tell who's viewing my profile. I can tell who's active. I look to see who's active, and I know certain people that I'm connected to are active and on LinkedIn a lot. If I see that you're not participating, and I get this little thing when I'm in Sales Navigator, for instance, it will say that you haven't been on for 5 months. Well, that shows that you're not active. My point here is some of the etiquette around LinkedIn is that don't just maybe 1 month write a whole bunch of sales pitches and then don't go on for another 10 months. Not good. So think about LinkedIn as you're going to a networking event. When I go to a network event, I don't sit at a table all by myself and not talk to anybody. And I also don't stand in the corner hoping that somebody's going to come to me. So you want to be active, you want to share information, and you want to interact. Those are the 3 things. Be active, share information, and interact. If you do those 3 things, you're going to have so much a better experience on LinkedIn. So lastly, I just want to say this. It's getting more popular now on LinkedIn. And so I just want to encourage you to post some videos. So if you have a regular video that you post weekly, put it on LinkedIn too. It's okay. People want information. Just make sure that the video you're posting is not one of these selfie videos that's in poor lighting or you can't hear it. Just make sure it's a good quality video that has good, relevant information for your audience. If you have any questions about what to do on LinkedIn, you could just contact me at Lorraine@bizgonesocial.com, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram @BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.